Hey everybody, Bill in Virginia. Welcome back. So I'm still working on the other end of the layout, but I did have an idea that I'm going to do on this side once I get over here. I'm going to have this area be an active logging area. A lot of cut trees, stumps, some materials to be loaded to go. I'm hoping I can find a use for this little crane that I bought off eBay a while back. But what I'm planning to do in this scene as well is to have a crew working to extend the tracks, but also to build a bridge across this track. And then down low, I've got my O scale. So, another bridge coming across like over here. And then off the layout, in this world, there'd be, more mountains and hills. But I won't build a whole lot of it. I'll just build like a couple of pilings starting to go in, some crews starting to do some work, just to kind of make it look like the track is going to be continued off into another area to log. So I'll work on that probably in a few weeks. I'll be over on this side. What I'm doing this week is more trees. Yay! I'm not going to show too much, just a snippet here. So, what I do, and I've shown this a few times, is I usually take 3 wires. Now you notice I've got some marks down here, 7, 9, 11, 13, and then the other tick marks, inches in length. So this particular tree is going to be about 10 inches long. Then I made another one, another cut, a little bit less, a little bit less. Then what I do is I glue them together, and I use these little twist ties just to hold the pieces until the glue dries. And then I end up with, trunks that look like this. And then this is ready for the next step, where I'll take carpenter's glue, fill in the grooves, not excessively, but plenty. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a nice piece of cardboard that's totally flat, lay out Woodland Scenics ground cover earth turf, and once I put the glue on, put it down here, I'm going to roll it a little bit just to get the glue and the earth turf to fill in the edges, and then that actually speeds the process up. I've also gone away from using super glue to tack the pieces together. What I've been using on these is I bought a bottle of Gorilla Glue. I bought it for another project, but it's full, and I'm planning on getting some use out of it. So, like what you see here is I added a little dab on the grapevine wire down here, twist tied it together. Then I come up, add another dab here where the short piece aligns with the other 2 pieces. Wire, tie it together, twist tie together, I should say. And then at the top, where these 2 pieces come together, a little dab of glue and another twist tie. Then once that dries, I'm with the other. I went away from the super glue simply because I kept gluing my fingers together, and I would glue everything, and I would, I'd have a layer of super glue on my fingers. It took a little while to come off, either through picking it, washing it until the oil from my skin would come through, and then I could get it off. The wood glue, carpenter's glue, is easy. You roll it in your fingers, you get little glue boogers that you can flick or peel it off, and you're good. So anyway, right now, out of one of these spools, depending upon the size of trees that I do, that pile is dominated by from about 8 to 11 inch trees. I was able to get 14 trees off of one of these. Over here, a few taller trees, was able to get 12 out of a spool. So anywhere from 11 to 14 trees I can make off of one spool of this grapevine wire that you can get at Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to be just working on this off camera, and then I'm going to be going back to the other side and starting to do some additional ground cover work and prep work. I am expecting to get a little log cabin in the mail here either today or Monday, so I can kind of get some stuff set in place for that little homestead that's going to be on the top part of the layout near what I call High Point. That'll come a little bit later. So let's see what mischief I can get into on this video. So later Saturday afternoon, and another 13 trunks are going through the first stage of construction. I'll add that to the pile of almost 30 over there, so pushing 40-ish trees. But I also got the cabin in today. It's a plastic kit, and as it is, very shiny, very plastic looking. This is going to be temporary. At some point in time, I will build a real one, scratch built. I am going to come in, I'm going to chop off some of the overhanging logs that are sticking way out too far. Some painting, some weathering, tuck it up under some trees, and this should actually look okay here by the time I get done with it. Came with a few other things like some rustic fence, like a little walking bridge, and a little well. I might use the well. I'll have to look at that a little bit more and kind of play with it and see how it fits into some scenes up there, especially near the still. But anyway, I got some projects to keep me busy here for the rest of the weekend. Probably do some more on that cabin because I do want to kind of get it in position. So I'll probably work on getting it layout ready after I get a little farther on the trees. So a little later, Saturday afternoon, and I've been working on the cabin a little bit. I came back in and I cut off about 1/4 of an inch off of the ends of every one of these pieces. And I test fit them, and it looks a lot better. It looks more like what you would expect from a log house, log cabin. Just came back in with a camouflage paint that's safe for plastics, and got rid of the glossy plastic look. So this will be sort of a base coat. I've got to kind of rummage through my paints, and I know I've got quite a few browns that are acrylic. I'll bring some of those out and start to find a good color for the walls. It's sort of a bleached wood look from logs, and I will leave some of the like the caulking, the chinking in between the logs. I'll leave that in, or else I'll come back in and add some color for there. The roof, I'll see how the roof looks once we get to that point. I might just paint up the slate that's on here, some different colors, and use some chalks on those. But we'll see how this looks. This is actually looking decent. And of course I'll paint the windows and the doors. But it's not looking too bad. We'll let it dry thoroughly and then go to the next step. So I did a little painting on this evening, and do a little touch up here and there. Used a little bit too big of a brush, I think, to kind of get the white in. But it's all right. This will be a temporary building, so I think it'll work okay. I need to level it, so I'll make up a little bit of a foundation and probably add a porch to this. I will come back in with chalks and weather, and I've not done the roof yet, but this is going to look okay overall in that scene. So I'll have trees around it, a bunch of stumps kind of in some of the areas over here, including that little glade that I put in there. And I haven't glued up the walls yet. I'll do that, but yeah, I think that'll work out all right. It's going to be a good placekeeper for when sometime down the road I do a scratch build. So I'll finish working on that, and then Shannon has a home. He can run there before that bear that's behind him gets him yet. So this will work out all right. Sunday morning early, and it only took me about an hour, and I now have 37 trunks mostly done, at least for the Woodland Scenics ground cover material added. Used up a lot of bottles of carpenter's glue that I only had little bits left, so it's not like it took that much. I got rid of a bunch of nearly empty bottles. So what I'll do now is let this all dry, knock off the excess, then go back and add some ground cover material in any spots that still need it. Then I can go on to the next step, which will be to potentially clip the tops a little bit and then add the toothpicks and then roll it in some more ground cover after I put some glue on it. And then these will be ready to build, and then I can start putting them on the layout. Sunday evening, and I used a couple of shims to level the little cabin. Now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to find a few bits and pieces of materials and make like a little porch for the front of this. Just a small one, kind of a rundown, ramshackle porch. Also, I think I am going to make a driveway into here because I've got space where I can bring, you know, like old-time vehicle and kind of cut across here and then sort of come down. So I can actually make like a little road right through this area here to access it. Just an old dirt road, just a couple of planks crossing the track. So, and I've got some old vehicles that I can weather and put up here. So, you know, a little bit more with the scene once I get a little farther along, but I think that'll work and look pretty decent up here. My new production method of doing the ground cover on the tree trunks really sped things up. So still Sunday, later in the afternoon, and I haven't been working on this that much, but I've got like over 50 tree trunks completed. Just letting the glue dry before I go on to the next steps. Where if I had done it the old way, where I was just, you know, slow and just doing one side at a time, sprinkling on, letting it dry, doing this many would take me pretty much all week in the evening, you know, an hour or two doing it. My new method, just kind of covering it and rolling it in ground cover, sped it up tremendously. So I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm getting good effects out of it. So we'll let all of this dry overnight before I go on to the next steps, but that has been a significant saver of time. Sunday evening comes to a close, and I've been putting more of the Woodland Scenics foliage net down, ripping chunks off, putting it in with glue. I will come back later on this and you know, do the rest of the detailing like I do with the other stuff, but also a little bit on this side. You know, I've left an opening like right here. This is where the path is going to go down and around to the still that's going to be over there. Likewise over here, I've left this open. I will put in a little driveway. I really think that will work. You know, dirt path. You know, maybe at some point in time, maybe a horse up here, who knows, but you know, that's down the road a ways. I just put an old tractor that I've got out just to kind of see how that scene looks. Over here, again, started on this side with in that foliage net, you know, so that's gonna look okay there at the top of the cliff. You know, put in a variety of other materials here. The areas on top that are pink foam board, you know, there's gonna be trees there. You know, I've left those open over here. Some trees here, you know, trees there, a little bit on top. Likewise over here, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there. So, you know, still a lot of trees going in just this area. That next batch of trees that I'm building, you know, I think some of them are gonna go over here. You know, I'll probably put in a little bit here, a little bit over here. Still wanna leave enough room so that I can get in here to work. Probably start building the porch on that. But you know what? I think that's enough for this video. So the next one should be quite a bit more in the way of scenery, adding trees, doing some detail work, maybe some stuff on that structure. But that's for another day. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Keep having fun on your layouts. Until next time.